Eek Market Day was a very special day for women of Ukani. It's a day when husbands shows love to their wives by giving them money and sending them to Eek Market. Michael was a good man. He gave his wife Steph huge money for the market and left for farm. Steph instructed her children to fetch water from the stream before she comes back. And the children, knowing how beautiful Eek Market Day meant to the family, they rushed to the stream with their water pots, dreaming to come back earlier for their mother to prepare a good dish. It was around sunset that Steph came back. No water in the water pot. The children are not back. Steph became furry and got a cane to deal with her children. She ranted for hours. She saw other children coming back and inquired about her kids, and no one accepted seeing them all day, till evening when her husband came back, and it occurred to her that something is wrong. Michael and Steph sought for the children for days, and nothing was discovered about them. As the family was crying for those children day after day, people kept coming consoling them, giving the family hope over the children's return.
One day, Simon the village hunter was hunting as usual some miles away from the village stream. Waves and winds was coming, creating natural sound. The birds from the trees was singing. Cool breezes were coming from the stream side. Then he decided to have his lunch under cool tree. As he was about to start eating his roasted yam and red oil, he looked forward. Behold, a water pot and net bids. He went and picked them. These are one of the expensive bids bought from Eek Market, which are supplied by foreigners. Who could be the owner of these?
They're quite expensive, and they're beautiful, Simon spoke to himself. He took the bids and the water pot to his mother.
Michael, the father of the missing children, has not rested for days. He ran towards the palace to report to His Royal Majesty, but the entrance guard refused him access and threw him off when he tried forcing himself in. Michael ran, then went to his friend's house, whom was one of the king's cabinets. He narrated his omen to his friend, and his friend took him to the king of the land, King David. The king was kind-hearted and was loved by everyone. He felt the pain of Michael, who lost his 2 sons in one day. The king said to him, "Mitchell, the great farmer of our land, stop crying, stop weeping like a child. As far as I'm the king of the land of Ukani, your children will be back to you alive." Immediately Michael heard that his strength was restored, and he prostrated before the king and his guards. The king gave instructions to summon the town crier with immediate effect. When the town crier came, he was told to make announcement round the village, calling on everyone. On the cool of evening, the town crier went round the village making announcement, and thus he said, "King David, the king of our land, is calling on everyone to be at the village square before noon tomorrow. No one is permitted to go to market or farm tomorrow. If anyone seen disobeying this royal order, such will be punished." Simon and his mother was sitting under the tree in front of their house when they heard the town crier making the announcement, and they went closer to hear him. Many people was listening to the announcement of the town crier.
Early the next morning, King David sat at the square with all his royal cabinets and guards. The queen was also sighted beside the king in her royal apparel. Some men and women are already sitting, while some are just coming. Children are not left out. Simon and his mother are also present. Michael and his wife Steph also seen sitting at a corner while crying for their loss. Her friends are still consoling them.
The king stood in majesty and greeted the people of the land. The king loudly made a royal promise to anyone who could bring any useful information about the disappearance of the 2 sons of Michael. The person will be given 2 plots of land from the royal properties, and his family will be exempted from paying tax for a decade. The whole community shouted, and everyone wished to find out about them to receive the royal rewards. Simon boldly told his mother that he will be the one to find those children, and he will be given a royal recognition. He picked up his hunting items and left to the bush in search of those children. Simon walked all day looking for a way to get information and grabbed that offer.
Simon's mother
Had a friend called Anne. Anne was a village gossiper. She told her friend Anne about the bids and pot her son brought from the push, and she was going to sell them at Eek Market. As Anne left Simon's mother, she ran to Mitchell's house and met with his wife Steph. Steph was not happy seeing Anne in her house because she was not a good woman. Anne said to Steph, "Did your children war bids to the stream?" Steph responded desperately, "Yes, did you see them or their bids?" Anne smiled. "Simon must have been responsible for your children's disappearance. Let's go to Eek Market. His mother is about to sell some bids. Then Simon will explain to the king."
Steph and Anne hurried to Eek Market Lou, Simon's mother, about selling the bids. Steph held the poor woman and dragged her round the market. The news got to the king, and he sent his guards for the arrest of Simon's mother and to bring back the bids.
And was very happy, and was hoping to be rewarded by His Royal Highness for getting an information about those two children of Michael. That same evening the whole village was under tension. Simon's mother was forced sitting on the ground of the village square, the King David and his cabinets. His queen was there too. Michael came from behind and slapped Simon's mother, ordering her to speak up about his children. The bids was held as an evidence against her. Simon was coming from hunting. He came back and met the royal guards in his compound. He was shocked and confused also. The guards ordered him to open their hut, which he did, and the pot was taken along. The guards forced Simon to the village square and sat with his mother on the ground. Everyone surrounded and rained curses on them.
Simon and his mother were locked up in the palace prison, undergoing interrogation to confess what they did to the children of Michael. But they claimed knowing nothing about their disappearance. Michael invited Anne to his house. She was served a good dish. Michael also promised her barn of yam if she could be able to find out where Simon and his mother kept his sons. Anne became village celebrity because everyone believed she has won the royal rewards.
One day the King David became very angry, and he gave order to stone Simon's mother in presence of her son, because the king and all his cabinets believed that they had hand in the disappearance of those children. Simon and his mother has not eaten for days. They were beaten by the guards to confess, but they refused to accept killing of those children. The poor woman was stoned to death in the witness of her son Simon, yet he did not accept knowing anything about the missing children. Simon was thrown back to prison. One day Finn and Charlotte were going to wash clothes. As they were on the village track road to the stream, the grasses began to shake, the wind increased, and the tall trees was shaken too. Finn and Charlotte are two female friends. They started running back home. As they were running, Finn, who was behind, turned and saw a strange hand stretched to grab her. She screamed and threw away her bucket of clothes. Charlotte also threw hers as they ran faster, but Finn was caught while Charlotte sustained bruises, though she escaped to the village. Charlotte ran to her father's compound, and there she fainted. Her parents ran to her. They invited a herbalist for quick medication. She couldn't talk, neither can she tell anyone what happened or way about her friend Finn. The villagers became afraid of going to stream and to their farmlands. The news got to the king, and he deployed the village warriors to the stream side for security.
Anne's mother of Finn, whom was grabbed by that strange hand. Anne cried her eyes out. She ran to the king and reported her case. The king promised to add more to her rewards if she could to find out what was happening on the stream side. Anne became frustrated and told the king to forget about the reward and get her daughter Finn back alive as soon as possible.
As the warriors of Yukani land was on ambush by the stream side, two warriors from Ishaku land to the land waiting for an unfortunate person to enter. Ishaku was a small community nearest to Yukani, and was in the way of the warriors of Yukani land, nor the two warriors of Ishaku land, because all were hiding. She came looking for Finn, her only child. One of the warriors of Ishaku land raped her. She screamed, "O God of Yukani land, save me," as he was trying to drag her to their community. That was when the warriors of Yukani came out of their ambush, chasing after the warriors of Ishaku. So they began to exchange arrows. Then the warrior of Ishaku used Anne to protect himself, and arrows pierced into her body. She bleeded in death. The warriors of Ishaku saw the crowd of warriors of Yukani, and they took to their heels. As they were running towards the hill, the warriors of Yukani captured them.
The warriors of Yukani sang victorious songs as they entered the palace of King David with the men of Ishaku tied. The warriors of Ishaku were beaten until they confess of kidnapping two sons of Michael and Finn, the daughter of Anne, and the king seized them.
The land of Yukani and Ishaku had been in great land dispute. They have been enemies for years. Ishaku people are claiming to own the stream and some part of the forest of Yukani, but the Yukani people refused their claims. They were banned not to attend or trade in their popular Eek market all these years. That was why the men and warriors of Ishaku land started kidnapping children of Yukani from the stream. King Herod of Ishaku land came pleading for his warriors who were in prison of Yukani palace. He was given the condition to release the children of Michael.
One day, the two sons of Michael came back wearing their bids and carrying their water pots. Finn, daughter of Anne, did not come back, because an old man from Ishaku land had married her as sixth wife. Anne was not buried. The birds of the stream ate her body. All these brought vindication to Simon's family. Simon was brought out of prison. He was given royal clothes. King David rebuilt and expanded his hut. Simon was given the princess's wife and many property from royal properties. He was also exempted from tax for life. Simon lived happily with the princess, and they had 3 girls and 2 boys. He named his first daughter after his late mother, and the first son after his late father. The end.